The Heron and the Serpent. Long ago, a pair of herons lived on a fig tree. They had two young ones whom they loved very much. One morning, a serpent came from somewhere and settled in the hollow of the same fig tree. I lovely it little that later that day the serpent slithered up the tree. I have seen the birds fly away. I'm sure there must be eggs in their nest. He found the young ones in the heron's nest. Babies slurp slurp. The serpent opened his mouth wide and devoured the babies. In the evening, the herons returned home, only to find their In the evening, the herons returned from home only to find their young ones missing. Where did our babies disappear? I fear someone must have eaten them. I have seen a serpent down there. Can it be him? We can't be sure. Some days passed. The female heron laid 2 eggs. Our lovely little ones will soon hatch. Let's look after them carefully. But the serpent had wicked plan. After a few days, when the heron were away, the serpent sneaked in their nest and ate the eggs. When the herons returned, they were filled with shock and grief. Oh, our babies, we have lost them too. Now the male heron was sure that the serpent was the culprit. He made a plan to teach the serpent a lesson. I had heard that listen, there is a river nearby. I have seen a mongoose there. I have heard the mongoose and serpent are arch enemies. We will bring the mongoose to the serpent's home and make them fight. The female heron was excited. Good idea, but how will you bring the mongoose here? Let's scatter some fish from the river bank to the serpent's house. The mongoose is greedy for fish. While following the trail to eat the fish, he is sure to reach the serpent's home. So early next morning, while the serpent was still asleep, the heron flew down to the river where they caught some fish and scattered them as a trail starting from the riverbank and ended at the serpent's hole. Then they flew back to their nests and waited. Good, the serpent did not see us. Let's see what happens now. After some time, the mongoose came out of his burrow. He wandered near the bank in search of food. I wish I could get something to eat. Suddenly he saw fish. He was delighted. Ah, that makes my day. The mongoose hastened hastily ate the fish, chomp chomp. Then he saw another fish a few steps away and ran to pick it up. Then he saw another and yet another. So many fish, it's a feast. Followed the trail, the mongoose reached the factory. What's in there? Just then, the serpent peeped out of his hole. Who is this? Who's there? Seeing the mongoose licked his lips, the serpent thought that the mongoose was about to eat him. I must attack him before he does. So he applied his fangs and stormed out of his hole. Get away from here, you wicked creature. How dare you call me names? A fierce battle unsuited. You deserve to be taught a lesson. Finally, the mongoose killed the serpent. Take this. Seeing the serpent dead, the heron had a sight of relief. At last, our plan is successful. However, they were unaware of another enemy approaching. The mongoose slowly climbed up the tree and scared away the heron. Shoo, away from here. Then he found their nest and ate up the eggs. The mongoose calmly walked away. While the herons looked on, they could only be sad. Alas, we should have been more careful and farsighted. Moral of the story: while thinking of a plan, one should always think of its consequences.